Like, that's what I love hearing, right? Because now I'm emotionally invested in his success. Like, he sucked me in really nicely, right? Because now, like, I'm giving him advice. I'm telling him to do things, and whether or not he's listening to me, I think he's listening to me. As long as I think he's listening to me, I'm now his partner and not his critic.
See, I disagree. I want him to actually be listening to me.
I'm just saying, if you can't do it, fake it.
See, I'm putting my own money in. I want that guy listening to what I'm saying if I think that what I'm saying has any merit. And you're all involved in healthcare, and healthcare is one of those things where if you don't know the industry, boy, it's a long uphill. Well, wait a minute. If you do know the industry, it's a long uphill climb. And it's not like making apps for the App Store. It just isn't, even if what you're doing is making apps.
So, we're thinking about like good angels versus bad angels for my company. Obviously, someone with sector expertise is probably helpful, but in thinking about this, from whom should I seek money? And I'll give you two examples on the opposite end of the spectrum, and then you can jump in with everything else. But my next door neighbor, who knows nothing about my industry, but has a bunch of money and wants to put some in, and then a VC who wants to make a seed investment. How should I think about either of those options? And then how should I evaluate who is worth taking money from and who should I seek money from?
You should seek money from people who can give you smart money, meaning they've got to know something about what you're in. Dumb money is awful. I have a friend who just is a home builder with lots of money, and he just ended up with a healthcare software company because he made what he thought was a passive investment, and he ended up with the IP of a healthcare software company. Can you imagine how the founders of that company feel when what was their passion, they ended up losing to the dumb money that came in and then called it on them? So taking dumb money, especially in the early stages, is lethal. It's like take nothing, go starve. You want someone that can add some value. You know, why I love sitting around Rock Health is because I know what is wrong with the healthcare industry. And I can almost tell after 5 minutes, that's not going to work unless you get X, Y, and Z to happen. That won't work unless you get X, Y, A, B, or C to happen. But at least I know what those are, the X, Y, and Z, and the A, B, and C, and I might know somebody there. And that's who to take money from, in general with your company in an early round.
So I just want to say something to this. I don't know if you guys want to participate here, but yes, I agree 100% in the best of all worlds.
Exactly.
And if it was the best of all worlds, then I would just take people that are extremely smart and helpful and everything like that. The problem with smart, exceptionally good people in specific areas is that they're a lot of times very risk averse. And the idea there, if you have a great idea in mind and you just know that you need a little bit more cash to just prove something and keep going, because you just need to do this proof point. And some money from someone that knows nothing about the industry but can help you go forward and prove what you need to prove in order to bring a lot of smart people after. Don't say, that's my advice to you. Don't say to yourself, this is not smart enough, I'm going to kill my company if I don't take it. Take the money, prove what you need to prove, and bring the smart people then. It's easy for me to say, or for other people that have done business before, that go to the smart angel investors that after we've done stuff, and it's very But when I was a first-time entrepreneur, it was more difficult to do, right? So if you have a proof point and you can bring the smart investors later, go prove what you need to prove and take the money. That would be my.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I actually might add something in these current angel list frothy times. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and his brother came over to talk with us. His brother worked at Zynga, and he's like, "Oh, do you guys know any companies to invest in? Me and a couple of their friends from Zynga are putting together a fund. And I'm like, what is the distance from us and like the guy, the old Depression era story of the guy shining your shoes starts giving you stock tips? Like, I think we just flipped into that mode of like everybody's an angel.
And that's what the problem is, because you got to also have people who stick with you.
And just so I would say a little bit. I would actually take the combination of your two comments and say, from what Ron said, like get very focused on the milestones you want to prove, and that usually will show you like how much money you actually need to go do something, and then be smart. Then like get the amount low, and then be smart about finding that money quickly. You know, don't go do 100 meetings to try and close 10 grand from 10 people. Go and do a small number of people that you can validate are going to believe in you, and get that right amount of money to go prove the point, get to the milestone, as Ron said, that you care about. And I think that's exactly right.
But I think you all, and then just observation after seeing a bunch of people this afternoon in here. Everyone passionate, everyone smart, everyone with an idea that we all know healthcare needs, and very few people with firm ideas of how this is going to be monetized and who is going to pay for it. And that, I think, is almost more important in healthcare, which is very special. In healthcare, you almost have to know who's going to pay for it, because the chances in healthcare are way, way bigger than in any other field that the person who uses it isn't going to be the person who pays for it. And that's what makes people break their pick on healthcare so often, because they have to deal with stuff like insurance reimbursements.
So I've raised money from VCs, I've raised money from angels, I've raised money from friends of mine who nag me constantly because I've screwed them.
Exactly. Dumb
After
money.
the fact, they realize it. And well, some of them are dumb. I guess I'm not the strict constructionist on this, right? My point of view is I like winning. And if I win the football game, I'm not as worried about how many interceptions I threw or how many times I looked embarrassing in the process. I look embarrassing all the time. I'm kind of used to that. So I look at it and I go, here's what I want to do. I'm going to come up with a list from the people I would like to have, because they can get me customers, they can get me validation, they have expertise, they can bring skills, they can help me recruit money, and I'm going to start with that list, and when they all say no, I'm going to raise money from my neighbor, because I just like winning. Like, I want to get the ball, and I would argue, ultimately,
Ross knows a couple
right?
guys that say that you might talk to.
They're too smart, right? I mean, so my argument is you should be strategic in thinking about who you want to take money from, and agile about deciding that ultimately what you're trying to do is move the ball. And the best entrepreneurs constantly move the ball, no matter how much wind is in their face, how many people tell them they're wrong, they just keep going. So my argument is just keep going and do the best you can, and shit happens. You always clean it up later.
So
Even if it's your balance sheet.
Yeah, even if it's my friends with me.
Cap table.
So we have many teams here and elsewhere that are maybe they're getting some traction, they're on a good path, and there's a lot of interest, and they go out and they have meetings, and someone says, yeah, I'm sort of, this sounds really cool, and you talk to them 2 months later, and they say, yeah, there's people with interest, and they say it sounds really cool, and the checks aren't coming in. So how do you close? What is this concept of a lead investor that everyone's talking about? Do you really need it? And yeah, how do you get these checks in the bank so that I can move on? And anyone is free to jump in on this one.
The cynic should go last. So.
I would say I'm the cynic, but
Okay.
I don't think you need a lead investor.
So, well, let's define what a lead investor is first. So I've seen lead mean two meaningful things. The first is that they are really the person that's going out and they're pricing your round. So usually this is a priced round, or possibly in a convertible debt scenario. They're setting the price by which other people are going to follow. And there are some people that are leads, that they're willing to do that and put a number out and say, this is what we think it should be. Go find other people, and there are people that aren't. The second kind of lead are really what I would call syndicate leads. Those are people that are good at going and
Getting
collecting
other
other people. We like these people, and you know them because when they get excited, they go like, "Oh, this is great. Let me introduce you to 4 other people." And if they're doing a good, genuine job, those people are going to be interested in carrying you on forward. So I think that's what a lead is. Especially in these early periods, the people that help you, they're either setting your price or they're helping you go get additional investors. And I think those people are very, very important in the process. You can definitely raise without them, from your collection of neighbors or different angels that bet on you. But I think it helps to have them for seed rounds. And then
Well, again, it depends on how much you're raising.
Yeah.